Hey there. This is Real Talk Baseball. Carlos Baseball with me, as always, is Ernie Orange. And a very pleasant evening to wherever you may be. I took that away from Vince Scully. But it's all
Nice.
about baseball and playoff baseball coming up, man. But before we go into that detail, how's it going, Ernie? How's everything on that side, man?
Hey, man, we're doing great over here, Carlos. We're enjoying this type of fall weather coming in, and we're ready for that playoff baseball. October couldn't come sooner enough.
Yeah, man. And it's going to be exciting, dude. We're going to get to see a new teams hitting into the playoffs. We get to see players develop like Carlos Beltran did back in 2006, I believe, when he was with the Astros. He did amazing. He set records. That's a rookie. So we get to see that with the Orioles. We get to see that with the Blue Jays. We get to see that with the Diamondbacks. And it's exciting, dude. We get to see these players play in a different level now because now we have the best of the best in the playoffs. So we get to see exciting baseball. But before we get into that, there was a lot of news this weekend. And of course, it was the last game. It was the last week of baseball. A lot of people couldn't wait for that to finish. We got to see the Astros winning the division.
What
How
the,
did that happen?
what happened, Carlos? 24 days only of being in first place, and they decide on the last day to win the division. Looks like the Rangers just took the pedal off them. And they were kind of just
Off the
playing it easy
medal,
this
dude.
week. Yeah. It was one of those like, what are you guys doing? Got to start winning. Houston continues to show that they keep dominating the Texas State. And I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you, man. The Astros, they didn't have the typical Astros season, and here they are, still division winner.
Man, that sucks, dude. But it is what it is. The Astros did win. If you guys haven't seen it, what's his name? The guy, the third baseman. I don't even know
Brian,
his name. Yeah, he's over there saying that they were wondering how it would be like if the Astros don't win the division. Well, I guess they have to wait a little longer. I'm like, God damn, that sucks.
that was a clean one.
Yeah. What's up, man? How's it going, Ryan Reyes? Everything good over here, dude? If you have any questions, pop it in. We're gonna talk playoff baseball. We're gonna talk about all the series, and me and Ernie are gonna give our predictions to the World Series champs. So it's a
Yeah.
perfect night for baseball. I know there's Monday Night Football, but it's gonna be exciting tomorrow. We're gonna get to see 4 games go on all the way from the morning, I believe, all the way to the afternoon. So if you're off, you'll be able to see all those games, right? But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
one of those where we have to watch baseball early on. A lot of people are at work, and you're at work sneaking that phone in and trying to like watch a couple games on. It's kind of one of those tricky ones. The first game is at 3 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Western. We're in the West side of night. You guys not familiar, and 12 p.m. is kind of early to watch baseball. Carlos, I'm probably having breakfast. I don't know about
yeah,
you.
I'm fully awake already. I'm already on my my second coffee by that time or third. I don't
Okay.
know. It's something that's always happening at that time. Wait, what happened with my little thing here? And we have Chewy on here. How's it going, Chewy? Everything good on this side, man? Peter Gammons and Rosenthal.
Uh,
Hour of baseball, man. How's it going,
oh
dude? We're
man.
gonna talk playoffs. If you want to stick around, the Braves and Ryan, the Dodgers. Of course, I'm a big Dodger fan, so stick around and ask questions about that. But I do have some predictions on that World Series as well as Ernie. But let's go ahead and start our show, man, with what we have so far. And then we had a crazy weekend. We have 4 big stars that are quitting. I'm not quitting, they're retiring. I said quitting. Why did I say quitting? You have Brandon Crawford with the Giants. I want to go ahead and hit that boo button because he is a Giant, not because of he's a baseball player, but because he's a Giant. I'm gonna give him a boo.
Nah.
I'll give him that. You have Zach Greinke, you have Wainwright, and Miguel Cabrera, which Miguel Cabrera was the last player on the MLB roster that has faced the Expos, if you didn't know. So
What?
that's it. There's no more players or active players that face the Expos. Miguel Cabrera is it. That's it, man.
That is wild, man. It's a really sad day for baseball, Carlos.
Yeah.
I grew up watching these guys ever since I was in middle school and high school, and I can't believe that they're hanging up their cleats and saying goodbye to the MLB. All these 4 guys had astonishing careers. Brandon Crawford, a guy that played shortstop for such a long time for the Giants.
Yeah.
As much as you hate the guy, he was always playing really well defensively right there at short. Won 2 World Series for the Giants, and he has played the most games in short for the Giants team. Now we
Yeah.
have Zach Greinke, a guy that, man, talk about a guy that's just jumped around the league. He started his career with the Royals, moved around to the Angels, Astros, Dodgers. But the guy came back to the Royals, and it's a very loved pitcher. He was kind of a weird guy, but overall, I feel like a guy that dominated the game of baseball. And then you have Adam Wainwright, a guy that started the league in 2005, a World Series champion himself. And he been around the league such a long time. I can't believe to say that this is his last year of baseball. He was at every playoffs. He was always the number one starter for the Cardinals in every playoff run. And It was an unhittable pitcher. And what can we say about Miggy, man? The greatest hitter of our generation, possibly. Had over 3,000 hits, 500 home runs. And, this guy was one of the greatest hitters in our time. He won a Triple Crown. And it's sad to see them go. And every year, I feel like you're seeing more and more players hang it up earlier. The game is getting kind of younger now, and it's surprisingly sad, to see these guys say goodbye to the game.
And you know what's crazy? We did hear about Joey Votto. We heard about other players that might hang it up, McCutcheon. But see, They didn't say anything at the beginning of the season to where they can get their honors, and other stadiums say, "Hey, you're appreciated as an MLB player. Let's give them a gift and let's give them this." But since they didn't say anything, we don't know if they're going to retire or they are going to retire because they just said it at the end of the season. But these are the four guys when they were going to different stadiums, they were getting told or given presents and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Hi, coach. It's me, James. Big shout out, Big James. Hope you had a good game yesterday. I didn't get to go see anybody play because Gavin didn't play. So hopefully you hit a home run. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the next one, man. We have three coaches that left, but one of the big ones is Buck Showalter. He had a winning record with the Mets. He's age 67. He's coached the Yankees, the Dbacks, the Rangers, and the Orioles. So, is he coming back to coach another team? We will see. But, it was kind of a sad day for him yesterday. The Mets faithful gave him a big round of applause when he came on and give his batting lineup to the umpires. He was a little choked up after the game. If you didn't see the interview, you guys should check it out. But he's one of the good guys, I guess. He was in MLB Network. He was in ESPN. He knows his baseball.
Right.
And, what do you think about the Mets letting them go? Is it too soon? Did they even give him a fair shot?
You know what? It's totally not his fault, Carlos. The roster just didn't compete the way he wanted them. He's one of the good guys in baseball, always been kind of let down by teams. The Yankees kind of got rid of him in that 95 season. It had a great roster. It wasn't really his fault. And then the 96 season comes around and Joe Torre just takes his job. And, he did such a great job with the Orioles too and the Rangers and you name it. This guy has been coaching for such a long time now. I think it's time to hang it up as well. And I think he's going to live his life happily, just living retired. But overall, just a great coach. I know 2022, he sparked the Mets offense and the team finally started competing. And that's why the owner, Steve Cohen, went all out last year. He felt that they had the roster to compete this season. Unfortunately, money can't buy you championships. But overall, it can't blame the guy. There was a lot of injuries to that team. The Mets have just been kind of cursed, if you ask me. Every main pitcher they gotten has just gone down and with a big major injury. That's name it. The guys where they had David Wright, Syndergaard, Jacob deGrom in the past, and even then with those type of guys, they didn't manage to do anything. So what were you expecting with these guys? Frankie Lindor hasn't been the same guy, even though he had a 30 for 30 season. It just was a kind of a quiet one,
Exactly. And it's one of those disappointing seasons where you include the Padres and the Yankees to it because the 2023 expectations for those big teams didn't happen the way it should have happened. You have big payrolls. You have a big, big signing on 2023 what is it called, spring season or spring training season, and nothing happened of it. Like they couldn't get it together. So the Mets got rid of their players. The Padres went and got players to get rid of their farm system. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And then the Yankees, which they didn't do much in the offseason, but they have a huge payroll. So all these decisions are going to happen right after baseball, but we have playoff baseball right now, which is super exciting. But I do have another two to mention that we didn't talk about. Phil Nevin and the guy from the Giants too, dude. Gabe Kapler got fired, so that kind of Phil Nevin got fired. He got let go today, right?
I feel like that was a little understanding,
Yeah.
He wasn't always a great coach. I was always arguing with fans. Not with the fans, I'm sorry, with the umpires, fans, his players. He had this drive in him that was kind of, those kind of crazy guys out there, managing, ready to like get down with the umpire. But overall, Gabe Clapper was the most shocking one to me. A guy that had 107 wins 2 years ago. The only team to ever beat the Dodgers the past 11 seasons for that division. And
Yeah.
you need to tell me you didn't provide him the best roster, and then you're going to fire the guy like that? I don't know, but
Yeah.
I know he's going to have a lot of opportunities going forward. So I don't think that this is the end for him here. I think he still has another shot in the MLB, and he will still be managing next season.
Yeah, and that was kind of crazy to me too to hear that they let go of Gabe Kapler, because 3 games into the end of the season, why do you not let him, participate in these last 3 games, say bye to the fans, and
Right.
even enjoy the rivalry. The last time you're going to enjoy the rivalry, he's a great coach. He was a great coach. He did it with players that not really mentioned with the Giants, right?
No,
So,
exactly.
if
And
you guys, yeah, go for it, go for it.
sorry, it's a guy that was still competing for the wild card this season, Carlos. Given with the experience of Brandon Crawford, Evan Longoria, you used to ask yourself, how was this team competing? And he still had them playing the best baseball the Giants could possibly be doing this season.
That's true. That's true. And if you didn't know this, Gabe Kapler was actually fighting for that managerial job for the Dodgers. So it was between Gabe Kapler and Dave Roberts. So we're lucky we got Dave Roberts, and Dave Roberts could win the NL coach of the year. I mean, manager of the year, and why not? Right? So
Yeah, looking back now, I mean, Dave Roberts, why not? This is a guy that dealt with so many injuries and still made the Dodgers win 100 games. But the surprising one today, Carlos, is hearing that Aaron Boone is going to stay with the Yankees next season.
I did see that. And I did see that he is going to be one of the. I mean, he's going to be in those conversations to get what they're going to get this offseason. It's going to be a big offseason from what I hear from the Yankees. They might get rid of Giancarlo Stanton. They might do trades that they weren't expected to do. They'll take on the big part of their salary, which is crazy to me, but if it happens, the Yankees are the Yankees. That's why they have 27 championships, and that's what they're known for. And it's not that they
Right.
buy their championships. They glorify it. So Giant sucks, Ryan. I agree with you 100%, but got to be a little unbiased or biased or whatever. That's why you see the toilet seat with the Giants sign back there. So gotta give them that. So let's see. We got another one here. Maybe the Angels pick up Kapler. You never know. He's a good clubhouse guy. It will work.
I would, as an Angel fan, I would take him with open arms. The Angels have gone through 4 managers in the past 5 ever since Mike Scioscia left. Now we're heading into our 4th manager since Mike Scioscia has left, Carlos.
Man, that's crazy.
And he left in 2018. So there has been no stability with the Angels organization recently. So a guy like that could bring us some wins and take us to the playoffs. I'll take it.
Yeah. And, a little bit of sad news happened this weekend, and it happened yesterday, Sunday. Tim Wakefield, knuckleball pitcher from the Boston Red Sox, man, he passed away. He had aggressive brain cancer, I believe it was. And, he didn't get a lot of notice. It was just one of those things where it just hit him, and then boom, he passed away. So he had surgery, and I think he didn't do well, I guess. I don't know the full story. But, man, this man had a great knuckleball for the Boston Red Sox. It was hard for the catchers to catch the ball. They had to use a first baseman glove. That's how good that knuckleball was, dude.
Yeah, man. I have very fond memories of Tim Wakefield. It was one of those unhittable pitchers. It felt like every team that went up to face him, every start was just like, good luck trying to hit a knuckleball. I remember players before the game, pregame, Carlos, would have to set up the machine to throw knuckleballs to them to practice.
Yeah,
they were so confused out there in the batter's box. They had no idea what was coming. And every time they pulled Tim Wakefield out the field, it was like, thank God, we finally don't have to deal with this knuckleball. And, I'm not sure if you saw yesterday, but George Kirby has said that he has a knuckleball. And it was a great, honorary thing that happened yesterday. George Kirby came out to pitch yesterday, and he started throwing some knuckleballs on the day of Tim Wakefield's passing, which was amazing to see. And I hope George Kirby brings it back for all the knuckleball fans out there.
Yeah, and that's crazy because everybody's saying that he should add that to his repertoire. Like, it should be one of his pitches. And it was a great one. He threw it against Corey Seager, I saw. And Corey Seager was not exactly. He wasn't expecting that at all. He was like, "What is that?" So,
yeah,
he looked a little surprised on that one.
Even Corey Seager struck out on him and looked at him like, "What the hell did you just throw to me, man? It's not fair."
Yeah. All right, guys. Now we hit that playoff spot. We already gave you all the news and everything we had. If we forgot something, go ahead and put it on the chat. But don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button. If you have questions, hit that, comments, and we'll talk about it. The first series that we're going to talk about right now is the Tampa Bay Rays against the Texas Rangers. And this one's going to be a little different than what we expected because the Rangers did not win a game in their last series, which they should have, and they didn't. They allowed the Astros to take that by, and that makes the Astros a little bit scarier than we expected, because if they would have came here and placed the Rays, it would have been a lot different. But because the Rays are the top wild card team, they get to be home, they get to face the Rangers, and I mean, this first matchup right here,
Well,
you have Glasnow and you have Montgomery. What do you think is going to happen in this first game, dude?
Carlos, man, this is going to be a tough series. It's going to be a slugfest, if you ask me.
That's what I said. Yeah.
It's two teams that have offensive powers. The Rangers were out there hitting so many home runs and so many hits this season. And you have a Rays offense that also started up the season really strong. Carlos was one of the top teams going in June. And then they just kind of cruised the rest of the season. And I feel like they kind of been quiet ever since, but they still make some kind of noise. Now, It's going to definitely come down to the bullpen of the Rangers. And this weekend was a kind of a sign that, hey, can we trust Chapman going forward? And can we close out these close games? Because the Mariners were still able to find ways to beat them this weekend, 3 out of 4 games. And that's why they're sitting as a visitor now in this Wildcard Series.
Yeah.
Game 1, man, I'm looking forward. And I can't believe it's the first game, but even better. But, man, it's going to be an offensive one. And you got the Lowe brothers going against each other. You got Nathaniel Lowe and Brandon Lowe facing each other. And it's going to come down to the pitching. I know the Rays have strong pitching and experience. What do you think, man? I'll give you my answer after what you tell me.
Yeah, let me go ahead and answer this question. Do you think it was a great choice for Kershaw over Miller? I think it's a great choice only because I feel like you got to go with experience. If you throw a rookie out there, I know we had Buehler step up in the past where he did really good, and I think Bobby Miller can do that. But I think Dave Roberts has a game plan. We got to kind of trust Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts has taken us to the promised land a lot of times. For a Dodger fan to say that Dave Roberts is a bad coach, no, we're taking it for granted, man. We're going to the playoffs every year. This man is putting together a roster every year to compete, to go to the World Series. This man is a genius. And whoever wants to battle me and debate that, I will go with you. I'll do whatever it takes, because I haven't seen a Dodger team since I guess Tommy Lasorda days that's been great like it is now. So I trust the decision. Kershaw is going to do good. I mean, it's going to be hopefully he can get through 6. I don't trust him 7, and I think they'll be rested enough to do that. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Dodgers when we get to that point. There's little practices that they're going to happen, just like the Braves. They don't want anything to repeat from last year. So, I mean, Great question, Ryan. Like, I honestly, I think Kershaw should start, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, if you disagree, like, let me know. Yeah, and then Rays. Okay, Rays.
Chris got the Rays.
Yeah. And then we got Texas and Tampa are going to have a great. Oh, hell yeah, they are. That's what's going to happen, dude. It's going to be a really good battle, and we're going to get back into it no matter what. Carlos, are you all right? Roberts has been a monster team. Yep. Yes, he has. All right. So let's go back to your question, dude. And you're saying, damn, I forgot what the question was, man. What was the question?
So I guess I'm asking, who do you think is going to win? I want me to tell you who I think is going to win. And
Let me go first. Okay, I feel like you always go first, and I always put you in the spot. I think it's going to be the Rays, dude, that's going to take this one, because the Rangers didn't come into this series or into the last series of the season to win the division. And because they failed to win the division, this is where I feel they're going to fail to get past the Rays. The Rays do have a lot of injuries. They have a lot of well-known injuries. You have players that are going to be out for their roster. But I think the Rays, since they've been there before, I think they got a chance in beating 2 out of the 3. Like, they're going to win straight. They're going to sweep because Glasnow has been pitching really good lately. So, I mean, the wins and losses I don't see him translate in this series that much. The ERAs are a little high. I don't see him translating this a lot either. But it is going to be a battle of bats, not pitching. And I still pick the Rays, dude. So yeah,
Really? Okay.
yeah.
I'm actually going with the Rangers, even though they had a quiet September. They let the Houston Astros win the division. Hey, what can you expect? It's the Astros, right? They are the champions for a reason. But you mean to tell me a Rangers team that has played so well all season as well, Carlos? They were just right behind the race all year, and they've actually the Rangers had a better record against the race this season. They've actually swept the race back in June, and even though they're coming off as a road. I don't trust Tyler Glasnow in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I don't know what he could really bring out there. I know he's a great pitcher, but he hasn't really got that playoff exposure like that. And then Aaron Savali hasn't been there. Zach Eflin, I just think the Texas Rangers has too much power for these guys. And I really think it's going to go to a 3-game series, and it's going to be at the Tropicana. I'm not sure if the Ray fans are really going to show out there, and how much they're really going to support. I wanted to say this is going to be one of those quiet upsets here. And the Rangers may pull this one out. And you got, like Brian says, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, man. Don't doubt those guys, man. They've been playing really great ball. And you have Bruce Bochy managing at the end of the day, Carlos. A guy that has won 3 World Series.
And 5. 3 and 5.
Yes. 3 and 5 years.
You can't go wrong with that, though. You can't go wrong with that pick. You can't go wrong with either pick here. I'm just picking the Rays because I feel like the momentum from the Rangers kind of died off. They didn't play up to par for me, and it's not an upset. I think everybody's picking the Rays, and I went with the safe pick. But looking at it and looking at how many players the Rays have compared to the Rangers are a streaky team. It's like Corey Seager. Corey Seager is a player that is hot, cold. Right now, I feel like he's kind of cold. He's an MVP candidate. I know that for sure. Is he going to win it? I don't think so. Tony's still going to be winning that MVP, but he is going to the playoffs. He's a beast in the playoffs. It's just going to come down to the bullpens, and you have Chapman not being able to close it out lately, and it's going to come down to that. And I feel like that's where the game's going to be defined, and it's going to be the Rays on top. So we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be exciting, dude. Yeah, we'll get to see tomorrow.
At the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to whoever gets timely hitting down and whoever scores with runners in scoring position. That's going to come down to that because these teams could both hit, but it's about who's going to get that big hit. It's going to come down to that.
Dude, and it's not about just winning the first game. You win the first game, you're almost punching your ticket to go to the ALDS. And ALDS. And if whoever loses, you're pretty much in the elimination mode. The Texas Rangers weren't in an elimination mode. All they needed to do was win one game. Can they go ahead and close that out?
Right.
Well, only time, and tomorrow we'll see.
Right.
who's on the hot seat?
It's gonna be a fun one. A 12:00 game for us in the West Coast. We're can't wait for it. Kind of excited. 3 days of full-on baseball for 4 games each day. It's gonna be amazing.
All right, let me write that down. You got the Rangers, and I got the Rays, so I can make some slides and put it on Instagram or TikTok and all that stuff. So there we go. We'll keep it there. We'll call it Ernie Picks and one series. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one, man. We got the Blue Jays versus. I left the Rays. I should have left it should have been the Twins. Look at that slide is wrong. Well, it's the Blue Jays against the Twins, and the Twins are home for this one. You have Lopez against Gausman. I forgot
Gausman.
His name. Yeah. So who do you got on this one? And you get to go first on this one.
Hey, man, I'm rocking the hat, and I'm riding with them. It's one of my most surprising teams for this playoffs. I think the Blue Jays are just the overall deeper team than the Twins. I know the Twins could possibly win one. I know they haven't won in 18 past postseason games, but I think they're going to finally sneak one in there and home. But if you tell me that the Blue Jays don't have the overall better roster, they're going to win, Carlos. You tell me a team that has Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Varsho. They added a team. It's a team that has a well-complete team, and they have Jose Barrios going game 2, and I think they're just gonna beat the heck out of the Twins. And I kind of question the Twins. I know that Carlos Correa and Royce Lewis may come back, and I'm not sure how well they're gonna do with those injuries they have faced over the season. So I'm riding the Jays, man. What about you?
Dude, and this is where we're gonna go. I'm picking the teams against you, I guess. I'm picking the Twins, dude.
What?
Because
why?
I just feel like when you have a thing where you have a losing streak, a 18-game losing streak in the playoffs, it's the out of the 4 sports, that's the longest losing streak in playoff history, dude. So the Twins are up there. They're the number one team to go that long without getting the win. So I mean, I don't know, dude. I just feel like the Twins, for some reason, everybody has been talking about, oh, they're in the easiest division. These guys are not that
right?
good. But the Blue Jays, yeah, they're the most complete team that there is, I feel like, in the league. I mean, they didn't prove it to win the division. They didn't prove to, be the top dog in the division or in the MLB, but they are like deep. They're deep in pitching, they're deep in hitting, they're deep in fielding.
Okay.
Their bullpen, it's good, but I just feel for some reason this is going to be a Cinderella story, and if they don't, then it's okay if I don't pick them. But I feel like the Twins can do some work. They have the best pitching they've ever had, so why
It's
not?
decent.
It's decent, right? So I
Got
feel
Sonny
like
Gray.
they can surprise it. They can surprise, dude. They can surprise. Um,
Wow, so your surprise is the Twins, and my surprise is the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays could go even deeper than the ALDS, and I think they could compete against the Astros.
Okay. So all right. So we'll keep it. You got the Blue Jays. I'll put the Blue Jays.
Hey, Chewy, you're going to. So I just saw Chewy is going for the Twins. I'm like, what the hell, Chewy? We're
Yeah.
going against every team.
And then Ryan got you, dude. He got your back. He says you got the Blue Jays. So that's good, man. Those are
Oh
good picks.
man,
Whoever, it doesn't matter. Don't forget to fill out your MLB playoff cards before it starts tomorrow. Yeah, you can win some money, and that'll be great.
right.
Yeah. So Twins. Let me put
But yeah,
Twins.
man, I think the Blue Jays are just an overall deeper team. And I know they lost Alex Manoah in the regular season, but I just think George Springer brings another spark, Kevin Kiermaier, and it's just a team that could definitely compete. And they've just been kind of inconsistent all season. And I've been waiting for the moment for them just to take off and keep winning. And it's like I said, timely hitting is going to come down to it all.
Yeah, and yeah, Chewy's laughing out loud out there. He's saying 2 versus 2. It's working out. All right, let's go on to the next one, and this one's gonna be a little. Uh, okay, we'll put it. We'll put it. I think I got this one right. Yeah, I got this one right. Who will win, D-backs versus Brewers? And I'll go first on this one. You have Brandon Pfaadt. Oh, Pfaadt. I said it right. Pfaadt. Right, Brandon
Yes,
Pfaadt.
that's one
Okay.
of those weird names. Yeah.
And then Corbin Burns. In Corbin Burns is going to start because if you didn't hear, Woodruff is out. He did have a shoulder pain, so he's not going to be able to be part of this series. We will see if they get by this series. We will see him in the next series, and that one will be against the Dodgers because this one is the series that they go against the Dodgers. On this one, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you'll pick the same one, but I'm going with the Brewers on this one. They got a deeper pitching, they got deeper hitting. Their bullpen is good, and I just feel like overall the Brewers have been wanting this to be on this stage for a long time and trying to get by this. And in the 3-game series, I feel like these guys are more ready than the D-backs. The D-backs did not make that trade that I needed them to make noise in the playoffs. Are they World Series contenders? Maybe next year, but this year they're not. To me, they're not. And I think the Brewers, for me right now, is the top team to win this series right now.
I think you got a strong point there, Carlos. I think for this one, we'll probably agree. I just don't think the Diamondbacks have the roster to win it all and even go deep. I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't even win a game. It's just a team that, the guy made it last minute in their wild card, a team that they compete hard all season. I give them that. But
Yeah.
Zach Allen was a great story for them. And Ketel Marte continues to, do such great things out there for Arizona. But I don't think they have the roster that the Brewers have. And the Brewers have been there every year, Carlos, quietly, but they've been there. And, they're always competing out there. I'm not sure if this year is even the Brewers season again, but hey, they're always in the mix and they're always giving tough battles for either the Dodgers out there. So
exactly.
So I would be excited to see next series the NLDS Brewers Dodgers, which would be a great matchup, with Freddie Peralta going with them in the second game. I just see them closing it out in the first 2 games and resting for the Dodgers for that Friday night showdown.
Yeah, and Ryan just said he's spot on. He said AC is too young, and then that's truth. Arizona is young. You have Zach Gallen that's not going to pitch game 1, which I'm kind of questioning. Why are you not pitching game 1? And they haven't announced this game 2. Have they announced game 2 already?
No, they have not announced game 2. It's still undecided, but I think they're going to write it out and see what happens game 1. And if they fall down, I think they're going to go Zach Gallen.
Yeah, because Zach Gallen has a 6.64 ERA against the Brewers this year. He has
Oof.
15 strikeouts against them. I don't know why they're not pitching them. A 3-game series is critical. You should have your ace lined up to pitch game one, unless you were battling the last week of baseball to get into playoffs, which the Dbacks were kind of pretty much made up on Thursday. They knew they were going to make the playoffs already.
Yes.
If you pitched Zach Gallen in that weekend, I'm not going to say the word. I was about to say the F bomb. You messed up.
Yeah.
So
Who are
I
you guys
think,
thinking?
I think game one is important in the 3-game series. Why? Because you need to win game one because you don't want to face elimination right away.
And you know
So
what? And this is where the Wildcard Series kind of gets interesting, Carlos. This is where a series was only 3 games, right? And you throw your best pitchers out there. And now for the NLDS or ALDS, now you're affected by this because now you're no longer throwing your best pitcher out there for game one against these other better teams.
yeah. And then we have Eduardo Fernandez saying the Lakers taking the chip. All right, well, we'll see once basketball starts, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know about the Lakers are definitely rostered really well this season, but we've got the Bucks coming in strong with the Dame Lillard trade out there, so they just stacked up as well. And you got the Nuggets that are also going to come back stronger than ever. Don't trust the Joker. He got us last time.
Yeah, great question right there. Even though it's not baseball related, we do all sports pretty much, man. We know a lot of sports around here.
Me and Carlos talk. We should do football too, but we kind of just focus on one sport, one baseball. Our true passion, but we are also aware of other sports.
Yeah, we are for sure. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We both picked Brewers on this one, and no surprise there, I think. We'll go on to the next one, and the next one is who will win Marlins versus Phillies, and I'll let you pick this one because I picked the last one. Go ahead.
Hey, man, well, this is going to be a showdown at Citizen Banks Park. I think the Philly fans are going to be nice and loud out there. They're rowdy fans in Philly, man, if you ask me, man. So I don't see the Marlins standing a chance out there. They're throwing some young pitchers like Jesus Luzardo, and, you have Yuri Perez out there. Hey, what's up, Angel? Thanks for tuning in, Faustino. I haven't seen you in a long time, man, but thanks for tuning in. I hope you can subscribe to the show. But yeah, man, the Phillies have been playing such a great season this year, and they turned it on for the second half of the season. I don't see them being stopped by the Marlins this season, especially a division rival like that. The Marlins don't have to take the Phillies down.
All right, so I'm different, dude. I'm gonna go with the Marlins. Why?
What?
I'm going with the Marlins. Okay, so this is why I'm going with the Marlins. Hear me out. So they did win 7 out of 13 this past season. They did win 7, and they faced them and they played hard with them, right? And the Phillies were fully ready. All their players were there. The Marlins were good too. So the Marlins have gone to the playoffs 3 times, and out of those 3 times, 2 times they won World Series. The third time it was only because it was a 60-game season and they made it to the playoffs. Now, with that said, it's a divisional game. It's a rivalry.
Yes.
What? That's important. That's really important. Everybody's calling the Phillies and saying the Phillies are going to win the World Series. The Phillies are going to beat the Braves. The Phillies, if they face the Dodgers, they're going to beat. You know what? As a Dodger fan, I'm tired of hearing that, dude. I'm tired of them not saying the Braves is going to be a tough task. Just like Braves fans say, the Phillies are going to be tough. The Dodgers are going to be tough. Be a baseball fan. Don't just be a Philly fan. All these Philly fans all over social media are talking about the Phillies being great. The Phillies are going to win the World Series. The Phillies went last year. Yeah. They lost it to the Astros. And I think I'm hating. That's what it is.
Hey, man.
I'm picking the Marlins, dude.
That's your typical Phillies fan, man. They're always excited out there. They always think they have a chance, and it's known for them to be like that. But this team is kind of roster to win, Carlos. You got Trey Turner, Bryce Harper out there. It's just a deeper team than the Marlins overall. But the Marlins could quietly surprise a lot of teams. They did pick up Jake Berger, and, Soler could hit some bombs out there. And Josh Chisholm always brings a spark to the Marlins. But it would be a nice surprise to see them go deep. But I just don't see it happening this year, man.
Yeah, and it is a scary team. I'm not saying they're not. And if you're looking at the roster for the Phillies is a scary team. But who can take them out? The Marlins can. And I know the Phillies can beat the Dodgers. I know they can beat the Braves. They're a tough team. But one team that we're not relying on to beating the Phillies is the Marlins for me. I feel like the Marlins have enough of players that are scrappy little players, get these little bloop singles, get
They
these
do.
little, they have these little scrappy. And when I say scrappy players, those are the players that usually are not a big time name, but when they're on the spotlight, boom, they shine.
They
So
do.
and that's what happened with them in the World Series in '97 and in 2003. They had
And
these scrappy players like Miguel Cabrera, and they freaking came in and did what they needed to do. So why not this year?
hey, man,
So
and I give them props. They were kind of fighting for that wild card spot for a while. They were behind the whole time by like 2 games, and they kept fighting and fighting. And Trey brings up a good point. Luzardo is a great the batting hit. The batting leader of the season. He won the batting title. You got Brian De La Cruz out there. They got some talent there, and it's kind of those kind of quiet teams. I saw them compete against the Braves, the Angels, and the Dodgers this season, and I just saw a tough team to put away. So, like you said, there's a sneaky team, and hey, man, the Marlins always surprise us, but the Phillies are just the favorites right now for some reason. Those are wild card favorites. They're like the toughest team in the wild card right now that you wouldn't want to face. But
they are the NL champs. Let's give them that. They are the AL champs. We'll give them that. But that's far enough that we're going to take it. We're not going to take it to the next level, but we are going to take it to the next level because we are going to talk about who's going to face, the next teams. You picked the Rays. I picked you picked the Rangers. I picked the Rays, and they're going to face, I believe it's who's it going to face? The Orioles?
The Orioles, yeah. So the winner out of the Rays and Rangers will be facing the Orioles.
They will be facing the Orioles.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
so let's talk about that.
Do you see any of those two teams beating the Orioles though?
I don't see I don't see anybody beating the Orioles on that one. I got the Orioles on that one because the Orioles are more deeper than people thought. I know I've been saying they didn't make the trade. They did not do what they needed to do in the trade season, but they hold their own. They won the division. They went over 100 wins. They're just a complete team. They've been surprising me. I feel like them beating the Rays in the playoffs to go to the next, I guess, what is it? The ALCS.
Yes.
I think the Orioles will take it in 7, and that will kind of exhaust them. I think they will get tired from that series, but they will learn from the series. If there's anybody out there that's an Oriole fan and feel like I'm wrong, I think you should put it on there. But I feel like for some reason I think they can beat the Rays, so I do got the Orioles on that one. You got the same?
Yes, I think the Orioles are just the favorite to go all the way, man. They're just the hottest team. Even though they're young, they are still competing out there, and they're doing great things out there in Baltimore. I just don't see any of these two teams taking them down. They've proven time and time again, even when you doubt them, they come and show out and they perform. And I just can't, even though with the loss of Felix Bautista and going with Tommy John, I think that overall they have a pretty solid bullpen that has held it down. They have produced a lot of runs to give them that run support they need.
Okay. So then, all right. Now we go to the next side. So we go to the Astros. Who's going to face the Astros? And you picked the Blue Jays. Do the Blue Jays have enough to beat the Astros?
Tree just said don't hesitate. This is a tough one. How about if I told you the Blue Jays would beat the Astros? That is a surprise. Hey, man,
really?
It's hard for the champion to repeat every season. It always comes down to the champion coming down either in the ALDS or NLCS. It always comes down to the point where they choke eventually. They're just tired. This year, the Astros has not been the same team. They got Justin Verlander for the trade deadline. Hunter Brown is not that guy. Luis Garcia went down with Tommy John. Jose Urquidy hasn't been around. I think he's been dealing with an injury. He's only pitched 27 innings all season. Martin Maldonado is not that offensive catcher they need right now. And, Altuve, Jordan Alvarez has missed a lot of games this season. And it's just not the same Astros team I've seen in the past years. I just think that them playing so many Octobers the past years is kind of catching up to them now.
Okay, so you got the Blue Jays beating the Astros. So you're pretty much they're going to the ALCS.
Yes, I see the Blue Jays going to the ALCS to face their rival Orioles.
Okay, so this is where I'm different too, man. I feel like the Astros have that chip on their shoulder to where they want to shut the whole world down. Remember, they took on the villain role. They're the villains of MLB. So what Bregman said when they celebrated, they said, You know what he said, and they
Yeah.
they were expected not to win the division. It kind of reminds me of the 2018 Dodgers, because the Dodgers weren't supposed to be there. They made it all the way to the World Series because the Brewers did not show up the way they needed to show up, right? And I
Mhm.
thought that the Brewers were going to beat the Dodgers, but guess what? The Dodgers won. They made it all the way to the World Series against the Red Sox. So I feel like the Astros for me right now, because of this, Cinderella, or not even Cinderella story. I think this magical thing where the Rangers did not win that one game, I think is going to take them a little bit further than what I think. So I think they beat whoever they're gonna face, and
Okay.
um, I just feel like if it's the Twins, because I picked the Twins don't have enough to beat the Astros,
Oh
and
no, not at all.
The Blue Jays don't have enough for the Astros to lose that series. But yeah, dude, I feel like that's a team for me, that the Astros are a scary team, man. Dang, Ernie, that's deep.
I
I
like your
like your
thoughts.
thoughts.
Yeah, man. Who wouldn't? The Blue Jays have pitching too, guys. Don't forget. They got Kevin Gausman, Kikuchi, Hyun Ryu. Don't forget a Dodger great out there. He's gonna go face the Astros if he has to. Take them down.
Yeah, and Ryan, dude, I hate the Astros. Don't get me wrong, but we got to understand that the Astros are a great team. They're a great team. You can't say that you look at the team, you're like, oh man, we're gonna beat them easily. Nah, you look at them, you're like, damn, these guys been here before. They know what to do. They know how to coach. They have a great coach that can manager. Sorry, a great manager that can navigate them to that World Series again. But I'm picking the Astros. I know a lot of people will hate on me, but I'm picking the Astros on that one against the Blue Jays or the Twins. Let's go to the other side, man. The other side is where you have who is it? The Rays and the Rangers. Did we talk about that?
Yes, we did. So
We
now we
did.
would go to the NL
And now let's go to the
NLDS.
NL side.
So you have the
NLDS.
Dodgers facing the Brewers. We both agreed on the Brewers. Now, do you think the Brewers have a shot to take down the Dodgers? I know the Dodgers are not the heavily favorites this year, but I do see the Dodgers still
Controlling it.
controlling it. Yeah, even though they have some young guys, they still have enough offensive powers to take down the Brewers.
They can
And
control it. They can control it for
yes,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great series to see. But I still picking the Dodgers. And if you ask why am I picking the Dodgers, because I'm a Dodger fan, and I'm tired of people always asking. And I always tell them the baseball answer. The baseball answer is like, oh man, the Braves are good. Oh man, the Phillies are good. But what about my team? Why can't I say my team is great? My team has been there. Dave
Hey, man.
Roberts is a great manager. Yeah, I think they're going to be able to beat the Brewers. And talking as a baseball person that just looks at the game from not being a Dodger fan, I still pick the Dodgers because I think they have the experience. You have Mookie Betts and Freeman on top of that lineup. That's going to do
True.
damage to you. So
So you guys
that's the
had
scary part.
you guys had 4 Dodger hitters that hit over 25 home runs. You know how impressive that is? That's
And you have,
half
yeah,
half of
yeah,
your lineup hitting over 25 bombs, and that's just an impressive stat. I don't know, Freddie Freeman, what has gotten into him? The older he gets, the better he's playing. Mookie Betts, man, it's just such an incredible athlete that could just do anything he puts his mind into. And JD Martinez just resurrected. He's the greatest DH hitter we have in the MLB now. And Max Muncy, Max Muncy power out there, just hitting some bombs to right field. So I'm
yeah.
excited to see that. And if Brandon Woodruff cannot pitch this postseason, the Brewers are in trouble.
They are in trouble, and that kind of sucks because he did have a press conference. He kind of, he kind of teared up a little bit because he's not going to pitch. He's not going to be out there with his guys. I get that. He's been there all year. He had that shoulder problem almost all year too. He only had like
Yeah.
6-7 starts, I believe. So he had a low
And,
ERA, but he
and,
still he was hurting.
and Brandon
Yeah.
Woodruff pitches so well against the Dodgers, Carlos.
He does. He does
He's
at
one of
Dodger
those
Stadium.
guys. Yes.
Yeah.
Corbin Burns, on the other hand, I know Will Power's a big fan of Corbin Burns, and I don't get why. I've seen him pitch live a couple times. He's a great pitcher and all, but man, I just always doubt him in the big games, in the big moments. I lost a lot of respect for him a couple years ago. He decided to come out the game so he could win the NLERA title against the Dodgers.
Yeah,
And I lost a lot of respect for them because he wanted to win that award instead of continuing pitching against the Dodgers.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Let's give him a big boo. Let's give him a big boo.
That's just my thoughts on him.
Yeah. Let's do him that. So, dude, not only that, but there's 4 players too that has over 100 RBIs on that squad too. Don't forget that. The Dodgers has never done that, and they did it this year. We have 9 viewers on here. If you haven't subscribed or hit that like button or give us a comment, go ahead and put a comment on there. We're talking the
How
playoff
many?
baseball. We got 9 people on right now.
Oh,
So
well, thanks everybody for tuning in. I know there's Monday Night Football. It's a crappy game out there, though. You don't have to be watching that. You got to tune into Real Talk Baseball.
yeah. Chewy's over there saying, did you just say JD best the DH? And he's like, cough, cough. You do have a great one in Atlanta, like, but I don't know what player you're talking about. If you're a real fan, put it on there. Putting on the spot, that's messed up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like the Braves have so many hitters that who is a real DH out there? You know, they got Sean Murphy. They rotate in with catching and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, man, we see the Dodgers, and then going forward, I guess we got the next series. You chose the Marlins, I chose the Phillies, and it's another division rival, you know, against the Braves.
Yeah.
The almighty Braves, Chewy's Braves. Will this finally be the year that Braves go on to the NLCS and take down the Dodgers?
Yeah, and this is the matchup everybody's going to be wanting to look at, right? Can they beat the Marlins? Can they beat the Phillies? Hell yeah, they can, because they've been there a long time ago. But the thing with this, and both of the teams said that they're going to have open, open to the public practices on Wednesday. They're going to practice tomorrow, closed doors, and both of them are going to have scrimmages open to the public. If you're a season ticket holder, the Braves already said they're going to allow that to happen. The Dodgers are going to allow that to happen. Why? Because it's a long rest. They don't want what happened last year to happen this year, to where the teams that played the playoff series come in with momentum and destroy what they were building on the whole season. That kind of sucks for me. You know, we've been talking about that all season long. And I think that was one of the things where I felt like that needs to change, but it happened again. So now they have to do it. They have to prepare, and they are preparing. And I like it. So whoever the Braves face, I am picking the Braves. So
yes, I agree with you. The Braves, you know, I don't think nobody could stop Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson out there. There's just offensive threats out there, man. It feels like every first inning they just go and attack that pitcher, and they're not scared to face whoever they got to face, man. The Braves team is so loaded, and like I mentioned, week after week, there's that 1-9 lineup is scary, and I don't see no pitching staff that could take down that team right now.
Nah, I don't see anybody, not even the Marlins or the Phillies.
Phillies.
But yeah, you know how I picked the Marlins. They could beat the Braves as well. Why? Because of the history they have, the track history they have of going to playoffs and going straight to the World Series. But I'm still picking the Braves because they are the number 1 team. And if you thought we were going to pick something different, you're crazy. All right, let's go to the AL. So you're facing, what is it, the Astros, and you picked the Blue Jays, right, to go to there?
My matchup is Blue Jays Orioles, and your matchup is Astros Orioles. While I do think the Blue Jays will have a good run there, I just think the Orioles have their number. They've been in it more times this season in the division, and I just think the Orioles are going to make it all the way, Carlos. It's going to be the biggest shocker in the MLB. Orioles making it to the World Series. Who I would have never thought I would be saying this right now. And looking back, I'm like, what the hell? The Orioles in the playoff mix? Yeah. No way, Jose. But here we are, and the Orioles are the hottest team coming out from the American League. And I just think that there's not really a team out there that could put a stop to them. While the Astros are definitely a much talented team and more experienced, I think their run has come to an end.
Yeah. Okay. So people are going to hate me for this one, but I'm picking the Astros, man. I'm picking the Astros because they've been there before. And the Orioles, I've been saying it all season long. They did not make that trade that I felt like they needed to do. The Orioles have been playing great baseball since last September. From last September, last season to now, they've been playing good baseball. They haven't lost a series, and they haven't lost 3 in a row to anybody. So I feel like they have a great team. They have a chance to come back after a loss, so they're really good. But I just feel like the Astros are just too so look, the reason why I changed my mind this morning was because what happened last night. Yesterday. If they would have not won the division, if they would have played the wild card, it would have been a lot different. These players would not get a rest. They wouldn't have their number 1 pitcher going out in the first game, and they wouldn't have had their second best going out for the second game. They would have had their worst pitching going into the series. Now they get a week off. They're resting now. They're home relaxing. Exactly. That team needed rest because they're a World Series champion that played all their games last season and all the games this season with a lot of injuries. So I'm picking the Astros. You're picking the Orioles. So There's a surprise there, I think, but I think a lot of people picking the Astros as well. And you're picking the Orioles is not a bad pick. It's just for me, the Orioles, the inexperience of being in a tight situation and a tight games. I think that's where the Astros are gonna take over. And hopefully I'm wrong, dude, because I want to be wrong for this one.
Yeah,
I
I would
wouldn't.
say that most of America wants the Astros out. And
Yeah.
as much as that's such a great team out there, I think we're ready to see another team take over the American League champions.
Yeah, to take the reins, right? It's kind of tiring to seeing the same team, but we have the same thing going in the NL, dude. So the
Right.
NL, we have the Braves and the Dodgers, the big showdown. This is one of those big series that happened during the season, and the Braves took the series, of course.
Right.
But this one here is going to be the determining factor. It's going to be who has the biggest muscle, who's going to score the most runs. I don't think pitching is going to be a factor. I know the
Okay.
Dodgers have a bunch of rookies going in, and they have Kershaw that's been there before, and you have Dave Roberts where he knows how to make those moves. Even though we question those moves, I feel he's going to go in there a little bit more excited and eager to win this game. But I won't tell you who I got this one first. I'm gonna let you take this one, Ernie,
Mm.
and see what everybody says on this one
Well,
for sure.
I'll give you this. The winner of this series, the NLCS, will be the World Series champ. I'll give you that.
Oh,
If it's the Dodgers or the Braves, either team's gonna win that World Series, guys. It's
yeah,
just you know how it happens sometimes when the World Series is just not as great as the NLCS or the ALCS.
yeah,
Well, because you have such two great teams going at it in that league alone. And I feel like this is the case. Dodgers and Braves, the most awaited series we've been waiting for. 2 weeks can't come soon enough because we're gonna see a great showdown. And this is a tough one, guys. As much as I want to lean Dodgers for everybody I know, I just think the Braves will take this one. In the game 7, I just feel like it's gonna come down to Ronald Acuna coming in the clutch and winning it all for the Braves here on this
okay.
Dodgers series.
That's not a bad pick, and I would totally agree with you. But I'm a Dodger fan, and I'm gonna have to go with the Dodgers on this one because I feel like the Dodgers do have the upper hand, where they have Joe Kelly that can go after Acuna's ribs and get him out of the game.
Yeah, man.
It's happened before, where you had this guy hit. Remember Henley Ramirez? He got hit in the ribs, and Joe Kelly
Yeah,
didn't. Joe Kelly went after him, and he said, "Nah, dude, we're not going to lose this series," and that's what happened. They went after him. They did it, and I mean, I feel like the Dodgers, the last series wasn't everything they gave. They did throw Bobby Miller out there. They threw him out there to see if it was a fluke the last time they faced them in Atlanta. In his first start ever, he pitched against the Braves and he dominated the Braves out in Atlanta.
yeah,
Now you're going, he came to LA and he dominated the Braves. So they did not show him Kershaw this year. They didn't show him
yeah.
Kershaw. They don't know what Kershaw has this year. He has been working on that changeup. So are the Braves, can the Braves beat that 1-2 punch? We will see. We do know that the Braves have the best pitching, they have the best hitting, they have the best on base percentage, they have everything going for them. They have the MVP. I'm not going to say candidate, just MVP Acuna, and but it's going to be a showdown, and everybody's going to want to see that series. But I am picking the Dodgers because Braves fans are scared to face the Dodgers, just like I am scared of facing the Braves. But if it has to come down to that, I need to pick the Dodgers because, like, I don't want any Dodger fan saying, "Why are you not picking the Dodgers? Why are you not?" But I think
Yeah.
they're a great team,
And
and
if
the
you're a
chemistry.
and you're a Dodger fan and you want to beat the best of the best, right? If you're going to win the World Series, you want to say we beat the Braves. That's why we
Yeah,
won the World Series. This is one of the cases where the Dodgers are finally not the favorite for once. For the past 10 years, I feel like the Dodgers have always been the number one team. Are they going to finally win it this year? And this is a year where the Braves are finally the favorites. And
yeah,
maybe things could turn around for the Dodgers, and they could probably play the game much easier now. Kershaw doesn't have that much pressure. I know Faustino just said he's going to get rocked like every playoff game he appears in. And it used to happen in the past, but Kershaw now with his experience, no longer the same pitcher he once was, but he still knows how to pitch really great. And that's what he does out there, man. He wants to win again. And I know the Dodgers want to beat. So the Dodgers win, Carlos, I won't be shocked.
yeah. What call ups are they bringing up in the playoffs roster? So they didn't call anybody, but I feel Colton Wong made the team. I think he's a great addition to the team because you can put him on base, you can put him in the outfield, you can put him in the infield for defense. He's a great defender. I
And
think,
he's He's a great pinch runner too.
Exactly. So you can do a lot of things with this man. Now with the bullpen, I feel like they're gonna have. I feel Lance Lynn's gonna be in the bullpen. I don't think he's one of the starters. I believe.
Starter.
Unless they're gonna do long relief where they have someone that needs to come and close out a game or something like that, do you trust him to do that? Because Phillips didn't do as well at the end of the season too. So you have a lot of options now with Lance Lynn being in the bullpen because if you have someone that does a long relief, you have him to do it. You have Josh Worrell doing that as well. But
Yes.
I just feel for some reason when you win a World Series, you have to have one or two of your starters in that bullpen and come in and just dominate. And I feel like that's what's going to happen when Kershaw throws. I feel like Lance Lynn is going to come in or Josh Burrow and finish that game up because they have a lot of depth. It's just a lot of people are forgetting when a World Series team that has a lot of rookies, they don't have a lot of scouting report on them. And the Dodgers looking like they're going to have a lot of rookies start those games. They might even start or do like the starter. What is it? The not the starter role, but
The,
it's called a
the
different.
bullpen game.
It's a bullpen game. You start them for one inning or two, and then you go with Lance Lynn or
Or
Jasper.
Ryan
Yeah,
Yarbrough was really known for
yeah,
that. I know with the
yeah,
race lineup, the race used to just start their bullpen 1-2 innings, and then
yeah.
Ryan Yarbrough will go from third inning to all the way to the eighth inning, and he
To
will
the
just
eighth
take
inning.
up innings like crazy.
He just eats up a lot of innings. So I mean, we already got the Dodgers. You picked the Braves. You picked the Orioles. You said the National League is taking it. I got the Dodgers Astros matchup, the 2017 payback, and I hope it is a payback. I hope they do like sweep them. I hope they do whatever it takes to shut these people from Houston up because I'm tired of hearing from them already.
So
Like
you think it's gonna be a rematch from 2017, the
yes, it
long-awaited rematch
is.
Dodger
Yes,
fans
it
have
is.
been waiting for?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Even though I think it's scary because I do not want to face the Astros and lose to them again. Like I just have to, put it out there and say, yeah, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again.
you
And before our
you just want
lifetime
to
is
see
done, yeah, we're gonna see that.
you want to see it, and you want it to be a fair shot this time, right?
Yeah, you want it to be a fair shot, even though a lot of people are accusing every team of using that, but they didn't
Right.
get caught. They didn't get caught. So
Okay.
Drew is saying World Series champs, Braves, they have the best record. Why not? Why not them? But Chew, you got to understand why I'm picking the Dodgers, why I'm picking the rivalry over the Braves and Orioles, and why I'm picking the Astros to win the American League because they do have the most experience. And I feel like the Dodgers have been through so much this season to where they have a great chemistry that they can go and make it all the way up there. I'm not saying that the Braves are not don't have that chemistry, but I just feel that for right there, dude, they can make it all the way. So okay, so you said the Braves
Yeah, man.
Braves and Orioles. How many games is that going to go, Ernie? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on? You can hear me?
A little
Yeah,
bit. We
I can
kind of
hear you
little
now.
bit. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. You're good. All right. So, how many games is that going to be? Is that going to be 7 games, or Braves are taking it in 4?
Yes, the Dodgers Orioles. I just see the Braves winning in 5 games.
5 games.
Oh man.
The Braves.
Yes, 5 games. I think yes. If the Braves face the Orioles, 5 games. It's gonna be
Five
easy
games.
World Series for the Braves. But
Oh
I think the
damn.
NLCS is gonna be the NLCS will be the toughest matchup for sure.
Okay. And don't forget about the 3-1. The 3-1 comeback from the Dodgers against the Braves. The Braves had the great pitching, had everything going for them, and the Dodgers came back on them 3-1. So true, I know that one hurts on, but I gotta mention that. I have to mention that because that's something that did happen, and a lot of people forget. Oh, because there was a 60-game season. No, there were two top teams competing, which were the Braves and the Dodgers, and it did happen. They had Acuna, they had all their stars there, and the Dodgers did come back 3-1 and they won that series and they went on to win to the World Series and beat the Rays. But I do feel like the Dodgers are going to be that team this year. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, I just I don't know. The confidence is not. It's not like oh it's big. I've never been a person that picks my team all the time. I've always picked other teams, but this year's different. I'm tired of people always telling me the Phillies, the Braves, the every other team. But what about the Dodgers? The Dodgers have accomplished so much with injuries. Like, don't forget about them. Like, don't
Yeah.
don't be like a naysayer, to them, and agree on other teams that have nothing to do with what's going on here right now. Like, I feel like the Orioles are a great team. We should be talking about them. The Braves are a great team. We've been talking about them. The Dodgers are a great team. We talk about them, but it's kind of like, okay, they're gonna choke in the playoffs, and that's always happens, and I'm tired of it. And then you talk about the Rays. You talk about the Rays. Oh, they always go to the playoffs, but Cashman's gonna find a way to
Blow it
choke
up
and,
again.
yeah, and take a pitcher out in the fourth inning. He only has 20 something pitches.
And it's crazy how like one thing like that happens in the postseason, and now it's brought up every postseason that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Like the Kershaw one, it's a very common one where we see like he always chokes in the playoffs,
yeah.
and he did in the past, but he's overcome that now, and you kind of forget about that and move on and focus on this year, and we'll see how it all plays out, Carlos, because this format's going to be different, and that those 1-2 seeded teams are that 1 week break, man. I'm not sure baseball players are so used to that, man.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Blake Snow. Yes. That's
Oh
what I meant.
man,
That's what I meant when Cashman. Yeah, you got the joke.
yeah, man. That's a NL MVP this season. That's not in the playoffs, unfortunately. That's
Yeah.
another topic that we talked about all season, but man, it's crazy what that Padre team cannot accomplish this season.
This year is different. Hayward, like Kike Rojas, and other veteran players we picked up. Dodgers 2023. Thank you, Ryan, for agreeing with me. Yes. I think their pickups were not a big splash like the MLB wanted to from the Dodgers, because they were saying that the Dodgers needed to make a big trade. They did not make it. The Rodriguez trade, he didn't accept to come from the Detroit Tigers to the Dodgers. He wanted more money, and the Dodgers was like, nah, man, you got to agree, with your same contract and come over to LA.
Yeah.
And he decided not to. He's missing out, whatever. But these little trades here that they made, I know they signed Rojas. I know they signed Hayward at the beginning of the season because Freeman, talk to the Dodgers and say, hey, man, give this guy a shot. And they did. And he's doing great. You trade for Kike, you need another guy in that dugout that has veteran presence that got there. Cody Bellinger, dude, is one of the players that's been since he's been up. He's never missed the playoffs, and this year he's going to miss the playoffs. He's with the Cubs, where they kind of choked.
He finally faced reality and
They
saw how
faced reality.
out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And
So
it's crazy. All these contracts were not expensive ones. There were kind of those quiet 1-year contracts. The Kika's like an expiring contract now.
yeah,
It's guys that they didn't really have to pay much money for, and are still producing, and are just getting along, having a great team bonding in the clubhouse. And that's how well Dave Roberts is doing as a manager, and is deserving of the Manager of the Year award, if you ask me, because man, the things he has to overcome with this lineup, you would have not thought it would be that great. But with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman leading the whole team, they've been unstoppable this season. With that 100-win season, they can't ask for nothing more.
Yeah, and we will see what happens tomorrow. But we will try to see if we can get on Friday to talk about that series before the next series start. And hopefully we'll tune in with me and Ernie. We'll try to see if will try to pop in, or have someone else to pop in, maybe Chewy or whoever wants to pop in. Just give me a message and we'll get you on the show, man. This is a fan base show, a fan base podcast. We try to do it as friendly as possible, try to do it as a buddy type conversation, because that's what really it is, So, Ernie, we reached that point in time, though. We got to log off and we got to say bye to everybody, but I'll give you your last takes on this.
Oh, well, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. And we're looking forward to the playoffs for these next 3 days, because the NLDS and ALDS are coming, and we'll be here ready to talk with you guys all for the playoffs 2023.
Yep. All right. Well, if that's all, if we'll see what who we get on here, but we'll get someone, and we'll talk about the series, and we'll talk about the next series coming up. But I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange from all of us here at Real Talk Baseball, signing out.